Hello, it's me. Hope you're doing well. I wanted to talk about Fate the Winx Saga. Why do I seem so deflated? It's because I've tried recording this several times now. This is my sixth attempt. It's a lot because there's a lot to cover, and each of my videos have been like an hour. So I've wasted a lot of time on this, okay? I just wanted to talk about it because I grew up with this show and I liked it. Yes, it got messy in the later seasons, and yes, I don't like what Nickelodeon did with it. And I didn't watch World of Winx because I was like sort of done with the show by then. But when the Fate the Winx Saga series was announced, I watched it and now I want to talk about it because it got greenlit for a second season, which is still very surprising. Basically, it wasn't good. They made it so much more complicated and convoluted and just dumber somehow. And the original show was made for kids. And somehow they made it worse and harder to follow. And I didn't like it. I didn't like any of the girls. Basically, if you don't know what the Winx Club series originally is about, it's about girls who are fairies who are going to school to learn magic. They fight evil, they meet boys, and they become the bestest of friends. And in this show, they're not friends. They're fighting over boys, and it's dumb. And the good guys are really ambiguous. So you can, just from that alone, you can tell that I don't like it. And I think they did a bad job. Again, I think even though it was a show for kids, I liked that everything was pretty clear cut. And I guess because they thought, oh, we need to make this for an older audience, that it needs to be more complicated, made sense. But it doesn't. It really just dampened the experience. And the darker tones and the more sexual adult content and, I don't know, just the nitty gritty of it made it worse. And the outfits were disgusting. The girls were pretty unlikable. The boys weren't interesting. I think the only character I truly liked was Beatrix, and she's not from the original series. That's a problem. And what's even worse, one, she's not from the original series, but two, she's meant to represent like 3 villains. A very important group of 3 villains from the show called the Trick Sisters, or just the Tricks. And they were so cool. They're very iconic. They got really like, I don't know if campy is the right word, but they got pretty dumb later. But they used to be very menacing. And instead of having Icy, Darcy, and Stormy, they decided to just like combine them into one character and have her named Beatrix. And they made her a fairy. She's not a witch. That's dumb. And it's just, the show is so exhausting. It really wasn't good. Again, I've tried talking about this a lot because the plot's really complicated. There's all this new there's all this new information they're throwing at you. They mention changelings and burned ones and this new town, and it's just so messy. And they're I think trying to follow the same guidelines. Like Bloom is still adopted. She still has the dragon flame, but it's not mentioned until the last 10 minutes of the last episode of 6 that she has the dragon flame and she's not just a fire fairy. And they change the elements. But they do so much to change the show, even though they're following a similar guideline, that it's bonkers, my dude. I think the main problem is there's whitewashing. They're dressed horribly. They're not friends. I don't like the character development or lack of character development. I don't really like the villains. The world is not interesting. How do you make magic boring? There's been so many movies about magic and you made it boring. Why? And I don't know if it's a directing thing. I don't mean any offense to the actresses. Like, they did fine with what they had. But it was bad. Okay? It was painful. I'm so upset with the Winx that I had to change locations. Just kidding. My sister's having dinner. She likes to listen to the TV very loud, so I had to switch. But yeah, I don't remember what I was talking about. Basically, it's not a good show. The characters aren't that interesting. The CGI is like, eh. The magic zombies are, the villains are not great. If I have to go through everything, like, super really quick. Bloom, she's too angry for my liking. And I get it, she has lots of trauma. And they're trying to make this show dark, but I think she's a little too dark. And she's gone dark before. She's literally become like a dark fairy, and it was super cool. But like, this is kind of like a lame, not lame, but like it's too hard of an edge. I'm used to my Bloom being soft and curious and confident, and this one's kind of a disaster and moody. And then Stella's a bitch. She sucks. She has trauma as well from her mother, who's a bitch. But Stella does pretty unforgiving things and then is like best friends with the girls at the end, which doesn't make any sense because she was hardly friends with any of them. And it's dumb. Aisha is fine. She's sort of the token character, which sucks because of all the whitewashing. She's the only girl of color in the group, which is, I think, terrible. If they do decide to add Tekna into season 2, again, they're very early in the season 2 makings because they just got greenlit like a month ago. So if they do decide to introduce a new girl, it better be Tekna. Race bend her. She's usually just British and white. But as long as she has pink hair, pink purpley hair, just fucking make her brown. Make her black. Make her Asian. I don't care. Just don't make her white. I don't want any more white girls. I'm done with it. As a white girl myself, I don't want it, okay? Aisha's character, I feel like she just doesn't do much. She has like the most rationale thinking, but I don't think she's utilized well. And she's just not treated well by Bloom, and that bothered me. Tara's fine, but gets bullied for being fat. She's just plus sized, and they made that like a part of like a complex that she has, and I found it really strange. There was even a moment in the show where Stella has to go away for a bit for plot, and Tara's like, I almost miss her insulting my outfits, and I'm like, you miss being bullied? That's so bad, girly girl. And then Musa's good. They changed her powers, but I still think she's good. She is also one of the characters that got whitewashed. There was a rumor that she was a quarter Asian, but I think that just got debunked. Post the show releasing, I think it was debunked. So she is a character of whitewash, but I think the actress did a good job with what she had. Also, just to emphasize, Tara was supposed to be Flora, and she's portrayed by a white girl. And Flora is supposed to be color-coded as a Hispanic character. So that's not cool. And Musa was meant to be typecast as Asian, and they're both white. So that's not good. Sky is boring. He's just like the point of contention for Stella and Bloom because he's Stella's ex, and Bloom and him flirt in a really weird and not great way. And he's boring. Riven's an asshole, but I expected that. But he's just like, he's homophobic, even though he seems to be pansexual or bi. And then he's a fat shamer. And he's just up to no good, does the drugs, the sex, the whatever. There's Beatrix. She was probably my favorite. She's an air fairy. She's like the replacement for like the Trix sisters, which I think is dumb. But she's also an original character that I do find fun. She's a little too gray. Like, I wanted her to lean more into the bad, but she was mostly doing bad things to reveal the truth. So I can't really be mad about her because her reasoning was fine. And she did kill someone, so that makes her pretty bad. But I don't know, she was still just like kind of buying her time in a really weird way. She felt kind of like a waste. I hope as they're doing season 2, they flesh her out more to be a bad guy. Or she picks sides and really like, I made the arrow my way. I just need her to pick a path and stay on it. There's this other new character named Dane. He, I think, is gay or bi. He's just not straight. And Riven bullies him for a bit, and then because of his bullying, Dane gives into Riven's bullying, and then he starts to like, I don't know, just be an asshole and kind of suck. Farah, the current headmistress, she just making bad mistakes, and I feel bad that at the end of the season, spoilers, she dies. She gets snapped, and because she could have had so much to do to redeem, to help Bloom on her journey, and then she just dies, so she just felt like a waste. Silva was meh. I think it was unfair of him to treat Sky the way he did, because after he became his guardian, he treated him like a son, but then once they got to school, he treated him like a soldier and a student, and I felt like him sending mixed signals to Sky was unfair. And then now he's arrested, so who knows what his role is going to be in season 2, because he is arrested now for the attempted murder of Sky's dad, who's alive for whatever reason. And I guess counting as Beatrix's stepdad or adoptive parent, which is weird. I hope I don't know if I hope this, but I think it'd be interesting to see with Sky's dad back how Sky and Beatrix will interact, because they both have such a strong connection to the dad. I think his name is Harvey. He's Tara and Sam's dad. Oh yeah, Sam is a good boy. We like Sam. He's good for Musa. Originally, Musa is supposed to be paired with Riven, but Riven sucks and was never healthy for Musa. So the fact that Musa is happy with a boy, he is an Earth Fairy and happens to be Tara's brother, it's all good for me. I thought he was sweet. And Harvey is fine, but he treats them like they're still children. And obviously they're like they're in like high school, college-ish area. So they're like old enough to be treated seriously, and just kind of sucks. And the teachers, I think overall, Farah, Silva, and Harvey, I think his name is, they don't do a good job teaching, and I don't trust them to run a school, ever. Rosalind, kind of the big bad, but still, I kind of expected her to play a bigger role than she did. I guess all the build-up to Rosalind is for her to be the new headmistress in season 2. And maybe we'll learn more about Blood Witches. She'll push Bloom to be evil? I don't know. And yeah, I didn't like her. I wish she was a little better. I wish she was just more evil. Like, I wish she just sacrificed innocent people to kill the burned ones in that town of Astrodale that she blew up with the help of the other teachers. But the fact that there were Blood Witches, I'm like, wait, so you're a good guy, but you didn't tell them that there were Blood Witches, so why didn't you? Did you just not care? So does that make you bad? And then, like, she killed Farah, so she's a bad guy, but, like, I don't know. She was a little too gray, for my opinion, as well. And Queen Luna sucks. We didn't get to see a lot of her in the original series, but she was always just, like, Stella's mom. She was the queen of Solaria. She still is here. She was always just nice. And the only thing that was a point of contention for Stella and Queen Luna was the fact that Stella's parents were divorced. But there's no king of Solaria in this series, and Queen Luna's just a psychopath who mentally and verbally abused Stella for her own personal gain, and it's really fucked up. Like, there was that whole thing where, like, Stella accidentally blinded her roommate because she was mad, and Stella felt really bad about it, but she made it so that everyone thought she did it on purpose, because her mom would rather have Stella be seen as a psycho rather than someone who doesn't know how to control her powers. So that's bad. And then, I don't know, the whole plot with the burned ones, Bloom being a changeling, I thought was dumb. The parents were fine. I thought they forgave or were accepting of Bloom's magic a little too quickly. Because again, Bloom's parents, or at least the mom, got third-degree burns because Bloom lost control of her magic, and that sucks. And she did have, like, a valid reaction. She, like, stood up from the chair and, like, kind of shrunk away. But then she immediately was like, no, I'm sorry, you're my daughter. And I get it. I think she still should have taken a little more time. Because I think they just took, like, a day, like, Bloom and the girls to go visit her parents. And that was just didn't make sense. Also, the fact that they were all friends at the end was stupid, because Stella was a bitch, and I don't think she's redeemed herself yet at all. And then Bloom has pushed everyone away, including Aisha, and hardly interacted with Tara and Musa, so it doesn't make sense why they're all hanging out together. Aside from the fact they all lived in the same location. They literally hardly interacted. So I don't buy them as friends. I'm looking forward to seeing them be friendlier in season 2, but I don't think they earned it, so it's kind of lame. Also, we gotta find out, because apparently the changeling thing is that Bloom got switched at birth with the biological child of Bloom's adoptive parents. So there's, I think, a kid out there that's biologically related. And where did they go? Like, I hope they touch on that. I also hope that with season 2, they do a better job with the outfits, because the outfits were disgusting. Throw out the team you had. I don't care. Get new ones. Or get a stylist for each character, because they kind of all, like, not dressed the same, but, like, they were styled in a really poor way, and all the same way, especially Tara. Like, there's beautiful plus-size people in the world, including plus-size models. Even though Lizzo isn't a model, I think of immediately Lizzo being plus-size and looking gorgeous. Like, she has such amazing styling and charisma, and I think Tara could have really, maybe that could be a season 2 thing. Like, Stella helps pick out outfits for Tara so that she looks good and confident, because there's beautiful plus-size people in the world who know how to dress themselves, but, like, all the outfits that Tara wore did not compliment her at all. So it sucked. Also, like, make Bloom wear blue. I know she's a fire fairy, so they're like, let's dress her in red, because red is fire, right? But, like, she never wore red. in the original series. She always wore blue. Even her Winx transformation outfit was blue. So, like, what are you doing? And I just hope that, I don't know, they kind of make it a little lighter, but still keep, like, the action-packedness. This wasn't really that action-packed. It was more just, like, spoopy. And I didn't really want that. I wanted more of the action and more use of magic, please. Still, I'm surprised with what they gave us for season 1 that they were greenlit as season 2. The only reason I think it got greenlit is and trended on Netflix for a week is because people were hate watching it, which can garner success. But I don't know, is it worth it? Because I don't think they did a good job, and I hope that they throw out most of the creative team, because I don't think the Vampire Diaries director was suited for this project. And I feel like I blame him personally for the love triangle aspect, because on Vampire Diaries, there was always love triangles. Elena with Damien and Stefan, and then Caroline with Klaus and Tyler. It was fine there, but this is a whole different type of genre, and also that show came out quite a bit ago. So I don't think it fits. I will give the show points for not driving a wedge between Musa and Tara as they were becoming friends once Musa started dating Sam. Like, it easily could have been like, I don't like you dating my brother, stay away from him. And they have to break up, and then they're sad, and then Tara feels bad and says it's okay. But she was like, yeah, sure, date, I don't care. I'm glad they broke the rule or the stereotype that way. Just get better outfits. Even the specialist outfits were so uninspired. They looked very like Hunger Games, and I guess that's a thing. But again, that also came out. Like, all these ideas just seem really dated. Like, I don't know how long this show has been in the works, but I think it should have gotten like touch-ups from like a writer of today and not like from forever ago. And also just stop. This feels, I don't know. I hope they get more women working on the project. So again, I think with the outfits, it didn't suit right. I think the dialogue also was awkward, and it just felt like it was written by like old men. So like, get some actual youngsters on the dialogue, not like my age, fresher blood, so that things feel better. Because this show overall was just kind of a mess. And I think that's all I have to say on the topic. This is the shortest amount of time I've talked about the project, and I'm okay with that because I'm so over it. I'm so done with it. If season 2 comes out and I like the trailer, maybe I'll watch it. I'll definitely react to the trailer, but I don't know if I can go through this again. This was just, I hate adaptations. Just get original ideas, people. Stop trying to remake things. Make your own shit and make it good, okay? That's my final remark. And yet again, and yes, remakes have done well, and they have been done right. But I feel like I've seen a lot of flops in comparison. Let's say this is the scale of like, remakes that are good and remakes that are bad. Remakes that are bad outweigh the remakes that are good. So, or even just adaptations, like, stop it. Come up with your own shit. It's not that fucking hard. I mean, I say that, and I've written several stories that have gone nowhere and I've never completed, but like, there's so many people who go to school for this, and let them just like feed off of their ideas. Okay? Like, it's already been on paper. I'm tired of seeing it. I don't know. I guess I'm being a little harsh. Adaptations of books are fine, but like, don't do like adaptations of like cartoons and stuff, okay? Because then again, I was just thinking, I'm like, Marvel has done a pretty good job with adaptations, but it's because it's already like a visual experience reading comics, because there's visual elements and there's dialogue elements, like textual elements as well. But I don't know, just come up with your own shit. Because this doesn't feel like Winx. Winx was always fun, bubbly, about friendship and adventure and magic and wonder and fighting the good fight against the bad guys. But this just felt like such a hodgepodge of like just bad ideas, and it was a mess. And then they're like, oh, let's just call it Winx, and it's like, it really wasn't. It felt like just like, I don't even fucking know. It just felt like a YA novel. And I guess that's what they were going for, because again, they got a Vampire Diaries director, and that's originally a novel for young adults. But just, you need to rethink this hard, because you're not getting a second chance, I can guarantee. After this, you're done. I can guarantee that. Because you can only get so much gain from hate watching and hateful news. People say that bad news is still good news. It can only go for so far, okay? Anyway, that's it for me. If you liked Winx and watched this show, what did you think? Let me know. And if you didn't watch the Winx growing up, but like heard of it and then watched this show, what were your thoughts? I'm seeing a lot of people who have the nostalgia glasses like I do, and viewing the show. So if there's any people out there who have watched it without knowing about the series, but maybe got recommended it by a fan, let me know your thoughts and let's talk below, okay? Bye-bye.